Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back, and today we are going to jump into whiskey sours. I'm going to show you how to make a classic whiskey sour, the way I do, and also one of my favorite summery versions of that drink. But first, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want more recipes and tricks to help you mix. Now, let's go build some whiskey sours. So whiskey sours have been around for a long time, and they actually belong to a family of cocktails called sours. And sours are a base spirit, a citrus, and a sweetener of some sort. Now with whiskey sours, typically they use lemon as the citrus and just a simple syrup to sweeten it. And of course the base spirit is obviously whiskey. But there are tons of variations. Depending on what you add into the drink, you can put in red wine, and that's called a New York sour. You can add Benedictine in the San Francisco sour. There really aren't any rules as long as you have that base spirit, the sour, and the sweetener. But I think that the biggest question often is whether or not you want to use egg white in the drink. And the answer is really it's up to you. Now regarding the raw egg in the drink, it's not for everybody. Some people have egg allergies, some people are concerned about getting sick, which there is a risk of salmonella or other yucky stuff with raw eggs, but it isn't your only option. One alternative is aquafaba, which is basically the bean water or the water inside the can that comes with garbanzo beans. And you can use this just like you would an egg white, and it has the same effect. Another option is pasteurized egg whites, and I actually like to use these because you have a lot of control over how much you put into the cocktail. These have been pasteurized, so you don't have to worry as much about the risk of foodborne illness. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the ingredients we're going to use in our first drink, the classic whiskey sour. For the classic whiskey sour, the spirit we're going to use is going to be bullet rye, and the sweetener we're going to be using is a rich Demerara syrup. This is a 2-to-1 ratio. And for the citrus, we're going to be using fresh lemon today. I always use fresh lemon. And this classic recipe calls for some bitters. We're going to be using Angostura. And these are the ingredients. That's pretty simple. Now let's go ahead and make the classic whiskey sour. Okay, we're going to start with our mixing tin. We're going to add 2 ounces of our rye whiskey. And next we're going to add 1/2 ounce of our rich Demerara syrup. Then it's time for our lemon. I usually do squeeze these before I do a video, but today I decided to just do it in real time. Then we'll add 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Next is our egg white, and I'm going to be using these pasteurized egg whites. They're easy to use and measure. I'm going to go with 1/2 ounce. Now that we have all the ingredients in the tin, we're going to shake this without the ice for about 30 seconds. Now this is called a dry shake, and all we're doing here is frothing up and foaming up those egg whites. Once you've got it nice and frothed up in there, we're just going to pop it open. Then we'll add our ice, put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and this time give it a nice solid shake for about 15 to 20 seconds. Now we're going to be serving this first drink up, so grab yourself your cocktail vessel and we'll just strain the cocktail up. That's a nice, it should be a little opaque and foamy all the way through, but if you let it sit, the foam will start to rise and settle at the top. And to garnish, I like to do 3 drops of Angostura Bitters. Take a little pick and just run it across to make little hearts. And that there is a whiskey sour. Oh yeah, that is the perfect mix of sweet and tart. You really get the aromatics from the bitters when you put it up to your nose, and you really get that rye flavor just all the way through the drink. This is a winner. And now that we have the classic whiskey sour out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the next drink, one of my favorite summertime variations, the lavender whiskey sour. Okay, for the second drink, the lavender whiskey sour, the spirit we're going to use is Michter's small batch bourbon. And to sweeten this sour, we're going to be using lavender simple syrup. It's really easy to make. All I did was in a saucepan, I added 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, 4 tablespoons of dried lavender, brought it to a simmer, and allowed it to cool. And voila, lavender syrup. And just like the classic whiskey sour, we're gonna use fresh lemon as our citrus. Now let's go make one of my favorite summertime drinks. Start again with a mixing tin. Begin by adding 2 ounces of your bourbon, 3/4 of an ounce of your lavender syrup, and again we'll be fresh squeezing our lemon juice. And then we'll add 3/4 of an ounce. And we'll finish with another 1/2 ounce of our egg whites. And like the classic, we're gonna give this a dry shake without ice before we add it. And once it's frothed up, we'll add our ice and give it one final shake. It looks nice and foamy. And since I usually serve this drink in the summer, we are going to serve it tall and over ice. Once our glass is iced up, just strain the cocktail right over the top. Oh, that's beautiful. Now when I made the simple syrup today, I used dried lavender and I saved a few sprigs. And I like to garnish the drink with one of those. And I also love using a dried lemon peel. And that right there is a lavender whiskey sour. Oh yeah, there is a reason why people love this drink. It's the perfect blend of sweet and tart, but you have that lavender essence that sort of permeates the entire drink. And I think it's perfect over ice because, you know, on a hot day, you're gonna want something to cool you down. Okay, those were my 2 sours that we did today. The classic with rye whiskey and Angostura, and the lavender with bourbon. I really hope you guys enjoyed this and you decide to give some of these recipes a try. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I want to give a special shout out to all my Patreon supporters. You guys make this possible. And a very special thank you to my top tier supporters. Thank you very much, Sam. And until next time, cheers.